How you doing, everybody? I'm Ken Bykoff, and welcome to the Peegs Postgame Live. Indiana, 38-3 winners at the Rose Bowl. As this unbelievable season continues, Indiana is now at, my God. This is
How you
just
doing, everybody? I'm
absolutely
Ken Bykoff, and
incredible.
welcome to the Peegs
Absolutely
Postgame
incredible.
Live. Indiana.
812-393-2600 is the number. We're live. We're going to be here for as long as you guys want to talk about this, because I have said over and over again that until Indiana wins these games, I still struggle to wrap my head around what's going on. And this is it's incredible. Indiana absolutely dominated Alabama in every single possible way. They were never really threatened by Alabama. I feel like Curt Cignetti really made a point in this game to not pile on, but he was making it clear. He's heard everybody saying that, well, yeah, but they're in the Big Ten. It's not the SEC. It's not this. It's not that. I'll tell you what, Indiana showed exactly what they could do against an SEC team in this one, and it was... everything I think everybody dreamed that it could be. 812-393-2600 is your number. Feel free to throw some questions in the chat. Give me a call. We're live. And just could not be, just happier with everything that we just saw. It's such a special night. Such a special night. The first game Indiana has played as the number one ranked team in the country in its history. And the way this team responded was just by laying just a quality ass kicking on one of the most historic programs in college football. It's absolutely incredible. 812-393-2600 is the number. I think, one of the things that you really have to start with in this game is the efficiency of Fernando Mendoza, Heisman Trophy winner, 14 of 16, 192 yards, 3 touchdowns. Just was as complete a game as he can possibly have. Mendoza threw for 192 yards. Alabama gained 193 yards total. Indiana rushed for 215 yards. You had Kalon Black, 15 carries for 99 yards. Roman Hemby, 18 carries for 89 yards. It was just a destruction, just an absolute destruction of Alabama. And just so exciting to see. And it also sets up this rematch with Oregon in the Peach Bowl. And that is going to be a fascinating game. And you can't help but feel good about Indiana's chances in that. And it's just extraordinary. 812-393-2600 is the number. Lines are open. I know that I feel like this is going to be kind of like it was after the Big Ten championship game, where people are going to be watching the post-game show. But here's the thing about scheduling these things. You can't go live and say, okay, well, we'll go, if they win, we'll go live 30 minutes after the game. But if they don't, we'll go on immediately after. Another thing that you might be wondering is, why am I not in Pasadena, or why am I not covering the game on site? Honestly, it is because of the fact that I don't want there to be connection issues. I don't want there to be any issues at all when I'm doing this. I want to hear from you guys. I want to put together as good a show as we possibly can, and that's kind of where we're at. So let me go ahead and take in our first caller. Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken, it's Russ from Reno. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Russ. How are you doing?
Rose Bowl champs. Can you believe it?
Yeah, Rose Bowl. It's not just a matter of you went out there and you played it and you put up a good fight. You beat the hell out of Alabama and shut up look, I've said over and over that the critics and all that, they keep being quieted. The SEC crowd is real quiet tonight. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, with Wyatt going down earlier in the season and then Daly going down last game, I was one of those guys. I was a little worried, not going to lie about how the defense would respond. And man, they couldn't have performed any better. The physicality, the relentlessness, the depth that they showed, it was incredible.
Yeah, they just demoralized him. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
it comes down to. I think Kirk Herbstreit was right on when he said, if you look at him, they look defeated, and that's exactly what it was. Indiana rolled over them, and they just kept up that pressure all the way through the full 60 minutes.
Yeah, the offensive line, it was like watching an Alabama team 10 years ago play against everybody else.
Yep.
How they were moving the bodies around on the other side.
Just absolutely dominated it. Absolutely.
I do have one question. Do you know why Johnny was starting, at tackle? That's a little strange. I'm not going to lie, to have that happen, in a game like this. And then Benson was getting reps later. Do you think they were just rotating, or maybe something he showed in practice? Maybe your thoughts on that.
That could be. We'd have to find out, from Sig after the game. But yeah, this is something to where there's been some rotation at that position in the past couple of games, and so not stunned by it. But yeah, we'll have to check with Sig afterwards in his press conference.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think that Indiana has potential. Maybe NFL tryout. I don't know. Benson would probably get a camp invite, I assume, at the minimum.
Sure.
That he's not even starting for the team. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it's also crazy that they're probably most likely going to be favored in the semifinal game as well.
Oh, I think we're favored every game. We should be, at this point, man, who could be favored than us?
They're
Mendoza they're pouring it on. So yeah, thanks for everything you do, Ken. Appreciate you, and I'll call in after a victory in the Peach Bowl. How about that?
That sounds great. Take care. 812-393-2600 is the number. Got another caller online. It's here from here. Caller, if I have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, KB, it's Larry from the Fort. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Larry. How are you?
Good, man. You ready for the poem?
Bring it.
Bama came for roses. IU came to pass. By halftime, folks were Googling, can Indiana really kick their ass? Scoreboard yelling plot twist, Crimson looking shook. Hoosiers left the Rose Bowl look like, I guess we are that good.
It is amazing how you do that every single game, and the kind of mental energy that you have to be able to put that together and get it ready to deliver it is fantastic. So I thank you so much.
Well, hey, buddy, I'll tell you what. On this game, I had time. I could start beginning of the half, right? I mean, this game was over early. IU came out dominant both sides of the ball, and I wasn't nervous after that first. By halftime, I wasn't nervous at all. Were you?
Oh yeah. No, I even tweeted about this, that it's the scarred IU alum in me that was like, all right, they're going to bring in this backup quarterback. He's somehow going to score 35 unanswered. And, it's just one of those things. But it's a different time. And I didn't really expect that. But by that same token, there's just it's tough to overcome those feelings. But we have to at this point. Because Indiana just held Alabama to 3 points. And
yes.
It's just incredible.
Yes. I kind of fall into the old rut that you were speaking of. Like, man, not sure we're going to get it. If I were honest with you, I pregame bet against IU. I don't know. I'll probably just keep hedging my happiness to keep these Hoosiers winning, I guess.
Well, there's several, and I am not a good gambler at all. And so that was one of those things where I have taken to just like putting a couple bucks on the opposing team just for jinx purposes. And so I give up,
right.
I give that. So, you lose $5, who cares? It's worth it. And then I feel like I've done my part. So.
No, I kind of am with you. Wanted to check in. Did you have a good Christmas and New Year?
Christmas was fantastic. New Year's was great last night, and had a nice big party with a bunch of friends here at my house, and really enjoyed that. There's always a theme, and we dress up in costumes. My wife and I I was Axl Rose, she was Slash, so just that kind of thing.
Yes, I was at one last night. The theme was America, so everybody was
there. You go,
USA, and we do that as well. All right, man. Hey, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other people trying to get on after this big win tonight. My Sunday after IU basketball, you gonna have a call?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's a late tip-off, 8:30 tip-off, but yeah, there's going to be a call-in show after that for sure, yeah.
If you're up, I'm up, buddy.
All right,
Thanks
I
again.
appreciate
We'll
it.
talk
Take care.
later. Bye.
812-393-2600 is the number. As I see here on the screen again, that they're doing the post game stuff and handing out the roses and doing all that. So if we're a little bit late with some people coming in, I understand it, and that's perfectly fine. They'll get here when there is on the chat. IU Basketball 22 said, we want Bama. And that is something that after Indiana beat Michigan in 2020, I mentioned this in the last podcast, that was something IU fans were chanting, we want Bama, and they got them, and they destroyed them. D'Angelo Pons, I see, is being awarded the Defensive Player of the Game. He popped Simpson and forced a fumble that was really, really important, and Simpson, unfortunately, was injured on the play, but it was a big hit, and Pons had a couple of big hits in this one. And that's the thing about this. There is plenty of love to go around for a lot of people, because a lot of people could get plenty of credit for what they did in this, whether it's Cooper or Surratt or Hemby or Kalon Black or Fernando, Carter Smith, D'Angelo Pons, Mikhail Kamara, all of these guys, just incredible. 812-393-2600 is the number. We got another call. Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
KB. Ryan from Round Lake, man. How are you?
I'm good, Ryan. How you living?
Man, good. There was a great IU party tonight at Portside Pizza off Shriner. Lots of folks up there. Whitley County showed out for that. I was thinking, man, slow down, little baby would have been a great thing to call in for. I don't have the capability to do that. What a performance! Hey, I thought Mendoza, he sprayed it around.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Charlie B, you had Omar, you had Surratt all score. The running game took over late. I mean, I was stunned at the domination, especially on the defensive line.
Right. Incredible. Well, and I see that Pat Coogan won the Rose Bowl Offensive MVP award too. Is alignment, and that's just incredible.
Oh, I hadn't seen that.
Yeah.
Well,
here's the thing. Indiana was incredibly efficient offensively, and you mentioned him spreading the ball around. Completed passes to 6 different receivers. Surratt, Cooper, Nowakowski, Becker, Black, and E.J. Williams. Nobody got more than 4 catches. Nobody had catches for more than 51 yards. So it wasn't like a huge stat thing, but it was just there's not a matter of I could guard one guy and Indiana's going to get shut down. The balance that's involved here is absolutely incredible.
Yep. All time. Like, I mean, we go back a couple weeks that first Saturday in December, we beat Ohio State, win the Big Ten.
Right.
Does today eclipse? This is the greatest single day in Indiana football history.
No question. No question, because, again, this is another box checked off. Okay, so they had to beat Ohio State. That was a box they had to check off, and they did it. Win the Big Ten championship, did it. Now, playing in a college football playoff game, winning in the postseason, and just winning a bowl, which is something that hasn't happened for a long time, those boxes are checked off. And so now that each one, I mean, look, the last box to check off is one that didn't even exist in most people's minds, of winning a national championship. And their next opponent is a team they've already beaten by 10 at their place this year in a tough game. And it's not going to be an easy game for sure, but they will be favored. And, look, everybody just has to believe that this is real. And I was getting calls earlier in the year about what is the ceiling for this team. And eventually we just had to admit, the ceiling is as high as you want to make it. And especially after you just straight humiliate Alabama. I mean, that's where we're at.
Well, it was humiliate and then also humility on the back end.
Sure.
With the interview. I mean, that was incredible. I got one more question. I'll get off, let somebody else call in. KB, what was your best Christmas gift?
Best Christmas gift? Let's see. What was my best Christmas gift? My wife got me a couple of long sleeve shirts that I really like. A Chicago White Sox shirt because I'm a White Sox fan, and so that was.
You're a South Sider.
Yes, sir.
Hey, dude, you ever get to Whitley County? I'm telling you, Portside Pizza is a Cubs bar. Do not wear that in there, man. You will leave black and blue, brother. I'm telling you that right now. Just a fair warning, friend to a friend.
I am Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, White Sox, that I grew up in Northwest Indiana and Chicago area. And so I'm all there, but Southsider.
Where in the region are you from?
Maryville.
All right, man.
Maryville.
All right, KB, I appreciate your call. Peach Bowl, you going?
Well, no, I'm not planning on going. And again, the reason is after that Oregon game, I had a remote broadcast that fell apart, and I ended up having to do it from here. And so if I'm not at Memorial Stadium, I'm leery about losing connections and doing stuff like that. But for that Peach Bowl, I might try to set up some kind of thing where I can do a remote broadcast somewhere here at a local bar. So that's kind of what I'm shooting for.
Love it, man. Incredible day. We had a Whitley County tonight was hopping. I'll just say it. Leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Blessings to you, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
812-393-2600 is the number. Hoosier Texan on the chat says, I never thought I'd be around to see the Hoosiers win the Rose Bowl or actually be here in Pasadena to see it. But wow, let's go Hoosiers. And then Ultimate Team Effort. This is from Lynchon, 5123. Ultimate team effort. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Go IU. And yeah, that's where it was. They absolutely were incredible. And it's just so much fun to see. And to see this team just be able to be as efficient as it was. And these shots of the players with Rose Bowl stems in their mouths, Sig getting covered in rose petals, just absolutely incredible, just unbelievable. And it's so much fun to see all of this happening. 812-393-2600 is the number. So here's the something to just talk about too, is this Indiana defense was so dominant. They hold Alabama to 23 total yards, 193 23 total yards rushing, 193 yards overall, just 11 first downs. Indiana ran 16 more plays than Alabama. Obviously, Indiana got the turnover. The Hoosiers had the ball for 34 minutes, had 6 tackles for loss. I mean, just incredible. Aiden Fisher, 7 tackles, 5 solo stops, and Boykin with 7 solo stops. Devin Boykin, 7 tackles, 6 solo stops, 3 tackles for loss. He had a sack as well. And it just, this defense was absolutely dominant. And that's the beautiful thing about all of this is it's just so many directions that it could come from. And it's really, really amazing. Again, Kalon Black, 15 carries for 99 yards and a touchdown. Roman Hemby, 18 carries for 89 yards and a touchdown. Fernando Mendoza, 8 carries for 16 yards. Kobe Martin, 4 carries for 11 yards. Alberto Mendoza, 2 carries for 6 yards. In the passing game, 4 catches for Elijah Surratt, 40 yards and a touchdown. Omar Cooper, 3 catches, 45 yards and a touchdown. Riley Nowakowski, 3 catches for 36 yards. Charlie Becker, 2 catches for 51 yards. Cannot say enough about Charlie Becker. Just the 2 catches. It's fine, but one of them's a touchdown. He continues to just develop and build on this rapport that he has with Fernando Mendoza. The fact that this team, there's a lot of talk about them having time off and doing how that would that impact the Hoosiers. The fact that they are now They come out, they have a 3 and out, they get sacked a couple of times, and doesn't faze anybody. They get right back to it. And there's just no hesitation, no problem for this team in keeping their head on an even keel. You're coming up on Twitter that before today, schools with the bye week in the 12-team CFP era went 0-6. The Hoosiers are now the only team to win. We'll see how much longer that lasts, but that's kind of where we're at. 812-393-2600 is the number. Give me a call. This game was just, people talk to me about doing this show and, what it's like and is it fun? Of course it's fun. But this team for 2 years now, it's been really tough to come up with anything to criticize them for. And not because I'm being a homer, but I mean, Jesus, what do you talk about with this team in terms of criticizing them or there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Your Heisman Trophy quarterback was 14 of 16 for 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Furthermore, didn't even really come close to throwing an interception. He only had 2 incompletions. It's just amazing. And this is the biggest football win in IU history, and each one going forward will continue to be because of what it means along the way. It's beating Ohio State was the biggest win in IU football history. Indiana is now 1-0 as the top-ranked team in the country. This wasn't a team that fell victim to anything that was, the media and all of that and all the noise that goes along with it. They weren't impacted by it at all. And now just see the IU band on the field playing and the Red Steppers. I'm sure there's a lot of you that are still watching the feed. It's hard to argue with, just the joy that's there and the excitement that comes with all of this. Again, a lot of silence from those SEC lovers who said, the Big Ten's a fraud, the Big Ten's this, the Big Ten's that, especially after Ohio State lost. This is how it works. This is incredible. So Oregon is 13-1. Their 1 loss coming to Indiana by 10 at their place. So it's still not an easy path. You still have to go and you have to perform in Atlanta. But this is an IU team that has played big games. And, Oregon was one of the teams that really challenged them this year. But Indiana still won by 10. So it really is unbelievable. That's the word that keeps going through my head, and I'm sure it goes through yours as well. 812-393-2600 is the number. Jason on the chat says, we all can learn from this team. They really are a team. They play for one another, and I really feel like they're a group. It's not a piece of the pie. It's about the whole, and that is absolutely true. That is absolutely how they approach things. And, when you see these guys around one another, you could tell that they like playing with one another. And success will do that, especially success at this level. In the college football playoff, Indiana puts up 38 points on Alabama. And there are going to be people that are be like, well, yeah, but that's the 4th loss for Alabama. This Alabama wasn't the Alabama of the past. Yeah, and this Indiana ain't the Indiana of the past. It's a new world. New world. And it's just exciting to see. Lines are open. Give us a call. Want to hear from you. Indiana 38-3 winners over the Crimson Tide. They have won the Rose Bowl and move on to the semifinals of the college football playoff. They're now 1 game farther along than they were last year. Indiana still has only lost twice in the past 2 years. That win, by the way, keeps Alabama from earning its 1,000th all-time victory. I believe I saw that stat. So that was something that they were Alabama was playing for, obviously, just to move on, and instead Indiana was like, nope, that's just how it is. I mentioned this earlier, but for the people who are just showing up, I really feel like in that fourth quarter that Cignetti was making a point. Now, they weren't, throwing a bunch of passes. They weren't doing that, but Indiana stayed on the gas and scored 14 points. And his point that he was making was, I hear all of you saying that, the SEC this, the SEC that, all of that. I hear that. And here's this. And I love that about him. I really do. All those shots on the sideline where he looks like the Grinch and is just so focused. And, I mean, he looks like a psychopath in the very best way. And it's just amazing to watch. It's absolutely amazing to watch. 812-393-2600 is the number. I also appreciated the fact that ESPN gave a shout out to Don Fisher, who through all of this, I'm thrilled for Don. I'm thrilled that he's been able to enjoy this and be a part of this and be part of calling a game at the Rose Bowl. I think that is what is great. See a lot of people mentioning Paul Feinbaum, who certainly is no fan of IU football. Yeah, I want to hear what he has to say too, because he's been full of crap the entire time and doesn't know his ass from his elbow when it comes to IU football. But I want to hear what he has to say now, because his beloved SEC team, they just got whacked. In the pregame, I think it's Desmond Howard and Nick Saban. They both picked Alabama to win. Wrong. Indiana took care of business. And the beautiful thing about this, everybody, is the Hoosiers have their head coach, and he's signed to a long-term contract. Offensive coordinator, Mike Shanahan, contract extension. Defensive coordinator, Brian Haynes, contract extension. This is sustainable. And you think people don't want to come and play for Indiana? I mean, what's not to love about what's happening with IU? That's why, again, Jason here saying we could all learn from this team about the beauty of playing together. That's where we're at. There's so many lessons that can be learned from this IU team, and it's just a joy to watch. And I'm sure a lot of you are like me too, that you watch this team play, and outside of obviously the Ohio State game, that was a tight one. Indiana has made it pretty easy to watch because there's a lot of relaxing games along the way, including in the Rose Bowl against Alabama. There wasn't a ton of concern. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And this is now the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th, 9th, 10th game of the 14 game season to this point in which Indiana gave up one touchdown or fewer. In the past 3 games, Indiana has given up 16 points. And they have outscored their opponents 107-16. Just domination. Hey, go back to the Wisconsin game, and it's 107-23 over the course of 4 football games. It's amazing. Manhattan Hoosier says it's all happening so fast. Every week is the greatest ever. It's wild. And he's right. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right because it's just ridiculously exciting to see. Lines are open. Give me a call. I want to hear from you here on this New Year's Day. Hope everybody had hope you didn't have too much fun last night, and if you did, that you're recovering, and at least you didn't have to be stressed out by a football game today. Once the Hoosiers took care of it, just incredible. These individual performances are something else. Offense, defense, all of these players, all of them working together. I thought Kirk Herbstreit did a great job of kind of showcasing that offensive line and how they're working together, and also the defensive line in terms of how they're creating openings for their teammates. And that kind of sacrifice is important. And also, let's talk about the fact that Mikhail Kamara, in a season in which he hasn't been as prominent as he was last year, Kamara ends up with a sack, the one tackle that he had, but still, he was disruptive. Even without getting some stops, it was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Talk about chunk plays, okay? Alabama had one run for 13 yards. That's the only play that they had of a running play of 10 or more yards. 4 plays of 15 yards or more, these chunk plays. An 18-yard pass, a 34-yard pass, a 16-yard pass, and a 26-yard pass, and that's it. Ty Simpson was 12 of 16 for 67 yards. Austin Mack, 11 of 16 for 103 yards. So a total of 24 of 33, a $170. Simpson was the leading rusher for Alabama, 3 carries for 17 yards. That was it. Timbo Slice says, greatest day in IU football history. And yep, it sure is. It sure is until the Peach Bowl next week, in which case Indiana has that opportunity to win and go on to a national championship game. And it's just wild to me. It's just wild. Got another caller. Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken, this is Adrian from Nashville, Tennessee. How you doing tonight,
I'm
man?
I'm doing great, Adrian. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I got to tell you, and I'll be honest with you, Ken. I've had, there's been several beverages that have been rolling around, so I'm going to try to get through this. Try to do this with being, making some sense here. But listen, one of the biggest things, we can go through all the stuff that happened in the game and everything, but from Indiana, but I've lived in the South since 1997, okay. Since graduating college. So being down here in the South, it is, even last week, my wife and I were out, we were shopping for some presents, and, I had the IU gear on going into a establishment, nice Bama fan, the guy that was in the establishment, but he's like, hey, it's going to be a good game next week, but hey, is Indiana hadn't played the big boys yet, and I told him, I said, you know what, Indiana actually is the big boy, and I say that in respect that that's a kind of, I would like them to win a national championship, but them beating Alabama, and like I said, when you live in the South, the feeling is basically that the only conference, the only teams that can play any kind of football are in the South.
Yeah.
And so I get it every day, and I'm kind of so over it. So this was, and I'm glad that they won, but the fact that how they won, to me, just shows the fact that, any amount of neighbors that I have that, are, wearing their Alabama gear or their SEC gear, it's like, it just feels good. I think everything else, it makes me feel so good to be able to walk into work next week and understand that a team from the Midwest and North, whatever, but came in and beat, the historically, quite honestly, and a great team in Alabama, historically, but, just not to beat them, but to dominate them, but like I said, anybody who lives in the South, certainly would understand exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, be ready for those goalposts to be moved, because now it's going to be like, well, that Alabama team wasn't that good. They lost 4 games this year. They weren't that good. They fell behind against Oklahoma and just got on a roll. So now what they have to do is wait for those goalposts to be moved. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ken, I just want to tell you too, and I know I've told you this before and other people call, but I really appreciate you doing this. This is kind of an old school thing for, I'm 50 now. But having a call in, it's really nice. And I know, you're not making millions by doing this, and maybe you are. I don't, but I just want to say I really appreciate it, because I think we all love IU football. We're all kind of in shock. I say we're in shock. I'm in shock that they won the way that they did. I really thought they would win, but, I think, we've been conditioned so long for,
sure.
Basketball, conditioned as far as Indiana football has been so poor, and we've had to rely on basketball season. And now to really, truly, I think this, as much as I love basketball growing up, I really do think Indiana has shifted and into the right way. I mean, I they can do both a little bit. It's hard to do both, but I do think now, I don't know, Ken, you tell me, a football school, basketball school, but I think at the end of the day, you've got, if you want to be relevant, you've got to be good at football.
That's always been the case, yeah. And that isn't something new. That's always been the case, because you look at it. Memorial Stadium holds 51,000 people. You sell that place out, and that is 3 basketball games. And you do that, so it just generates so much revenue for the athletic department, and is so helpful in so many areas, that being good at football is really important. And so that's been a handicap that IU has had to kind of deal with over the years, of football still being the biggest revenue generator, but wouldn't generate revenue the way that it does at other places. So if you want to have nice things, you need that revenue, and football being able to drive this revenue is really, really makes an impact with this athletic department.
Well, and I tell you too, listen, every time Kurt Cignetti gives an interview, and really I think what has been a big shift and change from whether it was Greenspan or whoever, he's constantly talking about Scott Dolson and Pam Whitten and their commitment to the football program.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, really, that's at the end, and I live here in Nashville, where as much as I was rooting so much against Vanderbilt because I don't like Diego Pavia. I do like Clark Lee and their program, but they made a commitment to football, like Indiana's made a commitment to football. And so I think it is due to Pam Whitten, and of course we know Scott Dolson. But I'll let you go, Ken. I really appreciate it, everything you do, and I'll be. One of the reasons I typically wouldn't like to call in, because I cycle a lot, and I like to listen to these podcasts post game. When I'm on workouts and stuff like that. So, but I really appreciate it, Ken. Thank you for everything you do.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
That's very nice. That's appreciated. I love getting calls from Tennessee and all over the place. I think that's fantastic. It's one of my favorite things about all of this. 812-393-2600 is the number. This, again, is one of those things where Indiana winning the ball game and winning it so convincingly is a great thing, because of how badly Indiana fans have wanted a winning program for so long. And the dream of this kind of success generally wasn't on anybody's radar. Go to a bowl, find 6 games. And now it's so much more. There is nothing that would make this season less successful. So you want to keep winning and win a national championship, obviously. But should Indiana come out and lose to Oregon, or lose in a national championship game, no one's going to look back and be like, oh, man, this is really a disappointment of a year. This is a standard that has been set, but it's not something that Curt Cignetti is maybe surprised by. This is his standard, and you better damn well get on board with it. By the way, this is according to the Big Ten Network. The Hoosiers allowed the fewest points by any team in a Rose Bowl game since Washington shut out Iowa in 1982. So how about that? How about that? Boy, all these things are fun, aren't they? By the way, I also saw something. It was Alabama's worst postseason loss in its history. And I'm sure that the numbers are out there, but I'm curious as to what is the biggest recent loss in Alabama football history in terms of margin. So I'll just go ahead and I'll look that up. Okay, so Alabama's biggest loss in program history. This is according to Google Gemini. So, here we go. Sporting News is on it. This century, this is the biggest loss this century for Alabama football. So there you go. 35 points. And it's by a touchdown margin. They lost the championship game to Clemson in 2018, 44-16. That was the previous big one until they showed up to play Indiana in the Rose Bowl. And Indiana gave them a little BTA. Gotta love it. 812-393-2600 is the number. Give me a call. Now, the post-game stuff is over now. They're still kind of talking about it on this Ram Trucks post-game. So there's that. Hopefully we'll get some more people to come on in because I want to hear from you. Throw in some questions in the chat. We want all of it. First ever Rose Bowl win, and I believe it was also the Charlie Becker touchdown was Indiana's first ever offensive score in the Rose Bowl. Because in the 1967 Rose Bowl, which I guess was 1968, they lost 14-3, so they didn't score a touchdown at all. So there's that. I thought it was 14-7. I am wrong. So there we go. It's a ton of fun. We got another caller. Caller, have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken, this is Kevin from Santa Clarita calling back from, again, for the third time this year.
Yes, sir.
I have to apologize. Sorry we didn't give you the best weather for the usual January 1st weather. A little wet today. But I saw the game. As the game was ending, the sun was shining on Indiana. That was a great performance, and your lines dominated again. And I felt bad for the band. The Indiana band didn't get to do their halftime show, but what can you do? It rains sometimes. It rains sometimes in Southern California. Not often, but sometimes. But
for folks that don't know,
congratulations on the big win. Indiana Big Ten champs, Rose Bowl champs. I'm sure no one could have dreamed that just a few years ago. And good luck next week, and maybe I'll talk to you after the show.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for the call.
All right. Take it easy, Ken.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
So guys that don't know, that's Kevin from Santa Clarita. He actually is a UCLA fan who joined me in the parking lot after Indiana beat UCLA earlier this year, 56-6, and he sat down and was really great. So I really appreciate him giving us a call and getting a chance to talk to us. I love that. Got another caller here. Caller, have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken, it's Kevin from Midland. How you doing today?
Hi, Kevin. How you doing?
Good. A couple corrections for you.
Okay.
One, actually. The stadium doesn't hold 51. It holds almost 57,000.
Memorial Stadium?
Yeah.
No, that's
Check it out. It is. They were sold out and oversold almost except for the first three games. and what was the crowd?
Over.
And I was there a year.
The capacity is 52,626.
Well, when I was there for the Michigan game a year ago, there was over 56,000 people in that place. They were standing room only.
Standing room only. Okay, so IU says that they hold that the current capacity is at 53,524. So you throw in some standing room. Hey, hell, you could fit as many people as you want in the place if you don't have to actually sell them a seat.
Well, let me tell you what, you couldn't move that game. They couldn't move at a lot of those games. If you had to go to the bathroom, either you hold it or you had a big cup.
Yep, absolutely.
I think a couple of things today, and I'm laughing now because I'm just laughing at the fact that Des Howard's on the pregame show. He's getting this shoved right up his backside.
Yeah.
Because Michigan's not in it, and Michigan got their ass kicked yesterday, and he ain't gonna talk about that.
Right.
But they did. So now today, Indiana. No, I'm going with Alabama. Alabama's tradition. Alabama's this. Well, Alabama got their ass kicked. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. It was men playing boys today. Period.
Well, and
that's just unequivocally.
The tradition is really that I say it all the time that history is for the media and the fans. That the players, once you get over kind of that, there's Alabama across the line from us. Once that no longer registers, it makes a difference. And I felt that because Indiana beat Ohio State last time out, this IU team wouldn't give a damn that the other team was wearing Alabama uniforms. They believed they were the better team, and then they set out to prove it and then did just that.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree with it because you could tell once Indiana got going, once we got going today, Alabama took a step back.
Yep.
And then a step back and a step back, and you could just see it every time we got the ball. They were back, and and I said if we come out and stop them right off the bat at half and we score, they're done. I mean, they don't have a prayer's chance in hell. And I liked how the announcer said, "Well, what did he say? Something about he's never. It's something about DeBoer, and so on and so forth. They've never been a bit behind at halftime. It's like they were behind against Oklahoma at halftime. Everybody forgets that it was 17-7." Because Alabama scored just before the half, and then they got the interception to start second half, and yada yada. But the third thing was he looked on the sideline when they showed it, and look at Kane Womack.
Yeah,
he's going. You could just see, my God, they're destroying me. The last thing I would say is I think the biggest single adjustment was this. Alabama came out and went right. Instead of playing zone, they played man to man.
Right.
So that first series they were sending 4, 5, 6 guys, and they got to us.
Right.
But the fact that we adjusted to the man-to-man that fast was huge. Because all of a sudden we realized, okay, they're playing man-to-man, and if we run the ball and we find seams, we're going to bust some runs. Well, we started running the ball, and guess what? We found we started getting better runs and better runs and better runs, and that destroyed their man-to-man. And the other thing we did against their man-to-man was that Fernando took off and ran 3 or 4 times.
Yes.
And by the time they realized he was running the ball, it was too late.
Yeah.
And I think what it did to them defensively is what do we do now? Well, we play zone. He's going to RPO us to death. We're playing man. They're running all over us. I mean, we don't have. And I just think from a national perspective, this game, even though I don't think it's sent shockwaves amongst the Indiana fans, I think Indiana fans expected we're going to win. I don't think we expected to win this big. But from the national scene, I think shockwaves went across the country. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
These guys are for real.
That is exactly
this is not. And I think that. I think the Oregon game is going to be a bitch of a game. I'm serious. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. Okay. But all of a sudden, Oregon is seeing a different Indiana team than what they saw when we were up there.
Right.
I think we're stronger. I think that Kamara getting a sack today, and you could see the fact that all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got one finally,
right.
And now it's like because then for the rest of the game, he was in and on or around or all over the quarterback. I mean, he was like a man on a mission. So we solved an issue of not would I like to have Daly? I think we have Daly. I don't think anybody's got a better defensive front in the country than we do.
No, I agree with that.
If we have Wyatt, one of those 2 guys, but. Guess what? I'm telling you, who's the guy that took his place? I can't pronounce his last name. Number 17. He didn't hurt us. at all.
No, there's no drop off
at all.
And
and everybody else.
Yeah, it's in Dukeway, and that's the beauty of it, is there is no drop off, and SIG doesn't want to hear any kind of thing, anybody feeling sorry for him. It's like, look, you're the next guy up, you're out there, now it's time for you to play. Make the most of it, and I love that attitude.
I think the last thing I'm going to say is, I think from a recruiting exposure, I think this opens up both portal and high school recruits. I think this opens up so many more doors for us. I mean, I don't have any issues. I think that everything he's going to need for NIL that he's going to have for next year already has it. The fact that they have committed somewhere around, going to raise $1.3 billion, something I read earlier this week, I believe, or late last week, and they're going to do what they got to do with press box, everything. I mean, it's going to be good. You know what I'm saying? What they're going to do. And they're also renovations for the stadium. They're handling them the right way. They're not going to go jump and put 15 more thousand seats in there. That would be crazy.
Right.
But probably when they get to the press box, within a year is my guess. When they get to that and they get suites built there, and they get the press box up for that little piece that comes down the stands taken away, which is going to open up probably 700-800 seats. They'll probably add maybe 1,500 more around the place, and then they may wait 3 years. Okay, let's see if we sell out tickets and we get a big season ticket, then we can maybe go on the student side and maybe put 4,000 or 5,000 there. I mean, I think 65,000 is a good number for us, and it's a workable number. And as long as Signetti's there and his staff is there, we're not going to take a step backwards. We're not going to be 14 or 15-0 every year. That's just not going to happen. We know that. But we're going to be right there in the mix, and we're going to be a program that is now starting that we're not a fly-by-night operation. We're legitimate. We are for real, and we can play with anybody in the country.
And you can win a Heisman Trophy
today. Yeah. Let's put that. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, we got one of those in our football building. So I think today took us to another level as far as exposure on the national level, acceptance on the national level. Is all of a sudden, this team is one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the Big Ten.
Absolutely.
Period. And we're going to be here for a while.
Well, Kevin,
and I love it. Yeah, go ahead and go.
Yeah, I was going to say, I appreciate the call. We got some more people waiting, but I agree with you
have a
completely.
Great one. Happy New Year.
All right, take care. Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
812-393-2600 is the number. Give us a call. We got a caller here who's been waiting patiently. Caller, have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Kenny, hey, it's Rob from Greenwood.
How's it going,
big dog?
How's it going?
Hey, I had to take a break. I got grounded for a while. My friends, my circle wouldn't let me call you anymore. But
oh no,
they said They said you get too mad at me when I call. So
why?
Hey, listen. Hey, I don't know but listen. Hey, remember the first question I asked you. What is the ceiling for this team?
I mentioned you earlier.
You did?
I mentioned exactly that.
Hey, Kenny mentioned me earlier.
Yeah, no, for sure, because it was, what is the ceiling for this team? What is the ceiling for this team? And it took a while before you just had to admit, the sky is the limit on this thing. And now it really is. You just beat the hell out of Alabama in the Rose Bowl. It's time to really, really believe that you could do it.
Hey, I'm here in Pasadena right now, and the joy and the smiles of everybody. I mean, it's just such an impressive showing, right? And I think it's really time to start talking about these guys can do this. I think they can do it. Don't you?
I do. I think they're capable of it. I do. And I feel uncomfortable admitting that. Because it feels so unnatural, but absolutely. I mean, we're just at that point when you roll Alabama like this, a team with great speed, great athleticism, all of that, and Indiana was so clearly head and shoulders better than Alabama today. It's incredible.
Yeah, how'd it look on TV?
It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous.
Were they giving a lot of IU love? Were they
Oh,
giving a lot of IU love?
Yeah, they were. And wait until you go back and you watch it, because the sideline shots of Sig's face the entire time, where he looks like the Grinch the entire time, it's just tremendous.
Yeah.
A psychopath in the very best way.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's Ken. I know you've been waiting for a long time, like we all have, and man, congratulations to you and Peegs and Rabby. I saw Rabby. Rabby was trying to hang out with Depot for a while. I got a great picture. I'll send it to you. But dude, no, I appreciate you guys. I mean, listen, you guys do this for a living. We live through you guys, and the fact that IU football, they're Rose Bowl champions, my man. It's amazing.
The undefeated top-ranked Big Ten champion Rose Bowl winners move on in the college football semifinals.
And I think it's time for all of us to say, oh, it's Indiana. Now it's like, no, you know what? Indiana's going to win this whole damn thing. They're going to win this whole damn thing.
They have every opportunity.
And Hoosier Nation was crazy today.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what's going to be in the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So special, dude. Special.
Yeah.
So, Kenny, love you, man. Hey, keep doing your thing. And I'll see you around, man.
All right.
Let's go Hoosiers.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, Ken. See you, buddy.
Take care. 812-393-2600. That is the thing, is, it's everybody who is out there out in Pasadena talk about just the IU presence that is there. Back in 2005, I covered the Super Bowl in Jacksonville, and it was the Eagles and the Patriots. And Eagles fans had a presence in the streets everywhere you went. Oh, wow. Nice. Apparently, Fish, after Kalen Black's TD to put IU up 13-3, said, "How about that, Paul Feinbaum?" I love it. I love it. Absolutely. 812-393-2600 is the number. Coming up on an hour that we've been on the air. So we'll give this a little bit more time, since there are some people that maybe didn't get a chance because they were watching that. And plus, there's another football game going on right now, so that's a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to that. Also probably going to be a early night for me in terms of getting to bed, because I had a lot of fun during New Year's. That's why there'll be no celebratory bourbon tonight, I can tell you that, because I enjoyed that yesterday. 38-3 is the final. And again, now you get into what it is that Indiana's next task is, which is the Peach Bowl in Georgia to take on Oregon, a team that Indiana beat at their place earlier this year by 10. And just to review that game, that one went down October 11th. So Indiana in that one moved to 6-0 on the season, became bowl eligible that day. And if you remember, that one was Indiana was up it was 20-13 early in the fourth quarter, and Mendoza threw a pick six that tied the game at 20. And the Hoosiers responded with a 12-play, 75-yard drive that ended with a Mendoza pass to Elijah Surratt. And then Radicic added a late field goal to give Indiana the 10-point lead. That also included a 58-yard field goal right before halftime from Brandon Franke, who got injured and has never been seen or heard from again. Despite the fact, I've asked them about him, and they're like, well, we'll see. We've never gotten a good, clear answer on that. But Roman Hemby, by the way, today is now over 1,000 yards rushing on the season. He has 1,007 yards. Kalen Black, he is 897 yards, so he's 103 yards away from reaching 1,000 yards himself. From a receiving standpoint, Cooper with 849 yards. Elijah Surratt, 727 yards on the year at this point. And, of course, Mendoza, he is now over 3,000 yards passing this season, 36 touchdowns versus just 6 interceptions. And more to come. More to come. Now, the fact that Indiana has played Oregon before benefits both teams, obviously, because of the fact that, Oregon was able to pick up plenty on tape. Indiana was, picked up plenty on tape. This is a team that they're familiar with one another, which is helpful to a certain extent, but it also provides opportunities because these players can feel like they know exactly what it is that some of these opponents are going to do, and you could exploit that. In that game against Oregon, Oregon had, let's see, what was total offense? They did 267 yards of total offense on the day for that one. And Dante Moore, 21 of 34 for 186 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Mendoza, 20 of 31 in that game for 215. Surratt had a big game in that one, 8 catches for 121 yards. But like the caller said, and I agree with, this is a different IU team than that one was. Even though it's in the same season, this one is playing with a whole different... They had a chip on their shoulder for that game at Oregon. They had to prove that they belonged. Here it is. Oregon's going to be looking to avenge their single loss on the year to this point. But IU is also playing with a ton of swagger, and SIG will make sure that they do not get overconfident, because that is not what it is that they will do. Oh, it's a good point here. Indiana has returned to the Final Four. Just didn't expect it to be in football instead of basketball. Last call for calls, 812-393-2600 is the number. Lines are open, but we'll shut this down if we don't get a call in the next few minutes. JM on the thing says, remember when just becoming bowl eligible was a successful season for IU football? Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Or 3 years ago, just looking for 6 wins. All of this is just been so fast, so quickly. Also, if I am not mistaken, I'm literally Googling what is the best 2 years, 2 seasons at a single school in his first 2 years at school. Kalen DeBoer was at 25 wins with Washington. Signetti was at 24 wins, but this was after the regular season. So this would be, now he would have 26 seasons? 26 wins? Is that it? I think it is. Because they were 12-0 they were 11-1. So then this year was 23, 24. He's at 25. So he's now tied Kalen DeBoer for the best first 2 years by a college football head coach, which is impressive. It's unbelievable. It has been a ton of fun. And now there's still more to go. That game against Oregon, by the way, will be 7:30 p.m. IU obviously will be the home team in that one in their red unis because they're the higher seed. They are, it's going to be at the Peach Bowl a week from Friday. So look to Peegs.com for all the coverage of that. Also, again, show note, we will have a call-in after the IU-Washington basketball game Sunday night. It's an 8:30 tip-off, so it'll be a little bit later, but hopefully you'll stay up and fire off some calls to me. And we'll be able to talk. On the chat, Ryan Markle says, is it crazy to say we should start talking about the potential of Sig's effect not on Indiana, but his coaching tree? A lot of Sig's staff had a whole lot of potential to be more than just staff. Yes, but Brian Haynes and Mike Shanahan just signed extensions. They're not going anywhere. And as you get into this, as you continue on, it's really difficult for you to, there's no jobs left, basically, because you're doing a good enough job. So, yeah, there's also the idea that we cannot overlook the fact that Cignetti is, he's 64 years old. He will be 65 by the time this next year starts. So he still has a ton of time to coach. Don't get me wrong. But this also then becomes a situation where you might be able to hand this off to one of them in the future. So he's a guy that draws a ton of loyalty. And I think that is something that don't have to worry too much about the coaching tree this year. Going forward, that's a different issue. But for right now, here on January 1st, after a 38-3 Rose Bowl win, not going to worry about that right now. But you're exactly right. That's something that could come up in the future. But Indiana, number 1 ranked, undefeated at Indiana. 38-3 winners over Alabama at the Rose Bowl. And Ryan says, oh, yeah, I just meant we'll one day, decade down the line, be talking about the Cignetti coaching team in the same way we do Saban. It's quite possible. It's quite possible because they've done amazing things. And also, Indiana fans shouldn't overlook the fact that the head coach at Alabama, Kalen DeBoer, was the offensive coordinator at IU. Kane Womack was the defensive coordinator at IU. A lot of IU ties there. Still a lot of credit to Tom Allen for those guys being around and helping in 2019 and 2020. I know we that tends to get lost in the last 3 years of the Tom Allen time, but it did make a big difference. He hired those guys, and those are obviously good hires. Going forward, Sig is making Indiana a place to be, where you could win a Heisman Trophy, you could compete for a national championship, win a Big Ten championship. It's all on the table, and that's how it is. Well, we're going to wrap this up here. Really appreciate all the calls that we had. 38-3 is your final from Pasadena. Again, Jeff Rabjohns, Matt Weaver, Jared Kelly, all out in Pasadena. Be sure to catch all their coverage on Peegs.com and enjoy the win, everybody. Biggest win in IU football history for this week, and so much more possible coming up on January 9th. It's going to be exciting. Well, that's all the time we have on the Peegs Postgame Live. I want to thank you for listening, and I want to remind you to visit Peegs.com for the very best in IU football and basketball coverage you're going to find anywhere. Nobody covers Hoosier recruiting better than Jeff Rabjohns, Matt Weaver, Trevor Andershock, and Jared Kelly. So come be a part of a thriving and exciting community at Peegs.com. Folks, you are not going to be disappointed. Folks, we're out of time, but for now, and for Jeff, Matt, Trevor, and Jared, I'm Ken Bykoff saying thanks for listening, everybody.